video we're going to talk about anchor mechanics. So how to manipulate anchors once you've drawn a line. So I'm going to first draw a line using the spline tool, and I'm going to make a synaptic connection or a synaptic button. So I'm just going to modify quickly, make this line. So you get a synaptic bouton here. Press escape. And so now I have, you can see these little dots or these squares along the line. These are anchors, and you can manipulate these anchors. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, it's very challenging to draw the perfect line the first time. The vast majority of the time, you're going to draw something close to what you want, but ultimately, to make that line look good, you're going to have to manipulate the individual anchors in order to get it to look just right. So, for instance, this doesn't look quite right. I'm going to want this. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to use the direct selection tool and click on one of these squares or boxes, and you can see that two handles show up here, and I can click on these handles and manipulate that anchor. Okay, and so I can bring, and this just to show you what's going on here, let me draw a more larger line. Okay, so I'm going to click on, use the direct selection tool, I'm going to click on this anchor, and then now you can really see those handles. Okay. Now, if I can, this is going to move both of these handles simultaneously. Now, I can use the Shift key, and this will snap it to either the orthogonal directions or the 45-degree angles. I can also press the Alt button, and then I can manipulate these handles independently of each other. So now it's more of a sharper edge, and I can return back to the smoother anchor just by clicking the smooth lines. So I can alter between a smooth anchor point or a sharp anchor point. Now when I click on the sharp anchor points, you won't have any handles. So the curvature of this line will be defined by the handles of the adjacent anchor points. Now, another feature that is really neat is you can use the alignment functions. So you notice up here on the top, you have the alignment functions. And if you don't see this, this toolbar up top, you click on Window, and you click on this Control here, and then you'll see the toolbar show up. Another neat feature is the alignment function. So now you can use the direct selection tool to select two lines, or two anchor points. So you notice that the selected anchor points are filled in with a square, whereas the unselected anchor points are not filled in. They're an open square. So I can actually manipulate both those anchor points and the lines in between while keeping the other anchor points and the handles unchanged. I can also align these anchor points. So if I want them to be straight, I can click this vertical align center. So you notice that these now are aligned. And so if I want to create a straight line between this path, I would click on this one anchor point, start moving this other anchor point, and I'm using my left mouse button to click on it, and then hold the Shift key. So that's going to snap it to a horizontal direction. Now I manipulate this other anchor point, hold the Shift key, and so now you have a straight line that's combining these two points. And so now I'm going to kind of do that same thing to make this this synaptic button. Now, one thing I find easier is to start, once I've used the spline tool to draw the curve, I then use the pen subtraction or the delete anchor tool to start deleting these points that I don't need, because I like it to be more simple. You'll see that will distort your drawing a little bit, but that's okay because you can you're going to be adjusting the anchor points anyways. Now you can also use the arrow keys as well. And I'm not going to get this perfect, just to give you an idea of how I would go about modifying this this synaptic button here to, or bouton, to make, and so to make a bouton. So I'm going to zoom in here, hold the shift key. So I'm going to click on this anchor point, click on this handle, drag it in so it makes it smoother, hold the shift key so that's horizontal, and then go in here and really just play around with these anchor points until you get something that you really like. So yeah, so maybe something like that. And maybe I want this side to be in here, so I select both of those anchor points and bring it in. And there you go. So now that's a something close to a synaptic bouton.